Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am excited and truly thrilled and grateful to be here today. So, to all of you joining in on whichever platform, I'm back on Rumble again today, and I think I got the link dropped already at all places. So, I'm opening it up today. I am filled with faith and hopeful for some exciting conversations today. So, blessings from me and my gratitude to all of you who are tuning in here in the now and in the future. And we'll see where this day goes, right? Whoops, got a little camera adjustment going on. Amateur hour. See, this is why Jack needs some support, because I keep screwing up stuff on my own. But, we're figuring it out. This online broadcasting thing, live streaming, it's new to me. But hey, life is new. Life is exciting. Doggone it. I did forget a couple of things here. Let's see what we got going on there. The thumbnail, right? Quoting Jack again, the Jack Talcott that we know and love. That's who I'm quoting. A reminder, a focus on the past. Think about what it does. A focus on the past today, it prevents a lack of acceptance and gratitude for the day, for the present. And holy cows, man, Lizard Tree, your generosity and continuing support, continuing contributions, blessings, and thank you. Hello to you as well. Here, back to where I was. Sorry. A focus on the past in today, it prevents us from really accepting today, enjoying today, and being grateful for today. And more damagingly, when we focus on the past today, what we're doing is preventing ourselves from imagining, creating future potentials that are greater than what we remember. That's the whole point. We're here to grow and to create greater memories, greater experiences, not just on our own, but together. So what I offer, some kind of breaking down what meditation really is. To break away from the pattern and the focus of the past, you just got to detach from all that was so that you can be still with all that is in the present. So becoming present with stillness and silence each day, it allows the life of love. It becomes realized. You feel more love. And then as you feel more love in the silence and the stillness of today, you can carry that through your activities, your work, and your chores. But the life of love becomes realized through the peace that's discovered in the stillness and the silence of today. And it's always like right now and today for when we are. So become still to know and appreciate and love. Become still within. And it's kind of the whole point of life. That's what I'm learning and realizing. And yes, let's not misrepresent Lizard Tree for a long time, man. It's probably been longer than that. Holy cows. Blessings and thank you to everybody joining. My ideas for today. Really, it was inspired by, doggone it, I didn't get it ready, but uh, by Thoughts on Thinking, that channel, Thoughts on Thinking. He shared a beautiful observation regarding some of the psychological explanations and studies, some of the some of the perceptions found through psychology. They actually support the Christ healing and teaching. And so some of these words were inspired by that today and elsewhere in my life. It really is. My practice right now, the reminder I received in my email notifications, I get an email motivation and inspiration each day from someone else. Today, the beautiful reminder is simple. God is in everything I see. Simple as that. It's a choice I made. Choice I am ensuring that I'm continuing to try and follow in deeper and deeper ways. Because what does that mean? How do you see God in everything? Well, behind the fact that I get to see physically, right, with my eyeballs and the light transmission and processing the frequencies and signals through my mind activity, beyond that sight, I get to know with my mind's eye, I get to see. See, and that's where the light of Christ shines through us. When we choose to set down our own corruption, when we choose to set down our own confusion, because we all pick it up throughout our lives, these lives we've been living. The fact that Joe Biden is president and Donald Trump is being considered as another option again in this what? It's puppet show, it's a stage ceremony. What is this election process? That a dance, the dance between the governance and the citizens. Get together and vote. I used to support that so much. I thought we could make a difference. I thought people were listening to each other, but you know what? God has God has shown me that people don't listen. See, where I was going with this, with pointing out the political cycle, mankind has lost its way. We can't move forward until we accept that sad fact. And we're a part of the mankind that's lost its way. We are. All of us are. We've been allowing collectively for, the past is the past. The past brings us to today. And, what the goal is, the inspiration is conditionless acceptance. See, what Jesus showed, what Jesus taught, is the message from God is love without condition. Love God, love all others, love life. That's my mission, right? Love life, love every moment that you get to be, because it's a gift, it's a grace. By the grace of God, I am allowed to know this moment as I am, where I am, how I am, and I get to do it guilt-free, like right now, in the present. I get to be in the presence of God because that's where my mind is fixed. I realize that for certain. And I seek to be in the presence of God, because in the presence of God, you know what's found? Perfection. See, perfection, that's what Jesus was and walked. And the perfection was realized by others through him and his presence. And I hope to be one with He, one with the consciousness, the spirit, the essence of Jesus. He's the Lord of love in my mind and my mind, the teachings and essence of what was shown through Jesus is love. Love is the way of life. We're not here to stray from the truth. We're not here to be in denial of what's real and pretend just so we can fit in. No, man, the world is confused. Don't play along with them anymore, all right? Come on, play along with me. Because this way, the way I'm feeling, the way I'm living, man, this is, it feels right. The way of love. The way of love and surrender to the truth. Because the truth in my world, the world I live in, the world we share, my perspective says the only thing that matters in my life is what is true. Because what is true is real, right? Well, the only thing I can know for certain that is real is right now, in the present. My presence in the present is evidence of God's will for me to be in the here and now. So if I'm in the here and now by God's will and mine, I mean, I choose to give up resistance. I wouldn't want to doubt God's will for me. I trust in God's will for me. See, from everything I've learned from all the different religions and philosophies and all of these different things, it makes sense. God's way is love. Love is unification. Love is compassion. Love is care. Love is trust. Love is faith. Love is mysterious. Love is delightful. Love is joyful. Love is just the reason to be. If you find love, know it within you, okay? Recognize it may be inspired and you may feel the love. Others may be a catalyst for you, for the love that you feel within you. But love love creates an attachment, right? Love creates a bond. It brings the multiplicity, two more, love brings it together into one. That's what a relationship is, a family is, a community can be, right? I know we can learn how to get along together again, right? And when I say we, I mean humanity, the biggest picture, talking about the whole world actually getting along, looking out for one another, right? So when news comes out that, hey, there's like a famine going on over in this nation, or there's incredible floods and fires happening, instead of the rest of the world and nations going along like everything's just normal, you gotta pay those bills, you gotta make sure the bankers get paid. Instead of everyone just going along like everything's fine, maybe we could divert some attention and energy to help some of these people around the world that are really, truly suffering. I mean, it seems a shame not to try to change this world. Now that I've convinced myself to believe that we can, I'm not stupid to believe I can do it by myself. I know something this complex is going to require a lot of different people involved. But when I convinced myself to believe that the ideas that this world could change, that, you know what helped me believe it was realizing I wasn't alone, that there'd been others in this fight for a long time. People who want to end wars, there have been groups, I've mentioned this before, I don't know if their link is in the description, but I the Wobblies, the international workers of the world, in the early 1900s. I encourage people, look them up, man. These people, these brothers and sisters of the labor class, were organizing and fighting for better working conditions, more equality. And guess what? In the early 1900s, there was people around the world, and especially in America, fighting to end wage slavery. Can you consider that idea for yourself? Wage slavery. Slavery meaning no option, no choice. You got to work for a boss at the boss's will. Why? For the boss's profits and your breadcrumbs. I mean, that's kind of what America has become. Hey, good to see you, Steve. Good to see all of you, sincerely. Bong Ripper. We do hope that. No, see, I may have jumped in. Love this. Lizard tree blessings. Love is like oxygen. You get too much, you get too high, not enough, you're gonna die. Love gets you high. Love. Love rises us above the conflicts and the judgment and the revenge. Love brings mercy upon us. Love is God. Love is a miracle. Right? I've mentioned that A Course in Miracles, that is pointing the way to better understand what Jesus is teaching. Well, that's the email I receive each day, and the reminder, God is in everything I see. This is supported by scripture. I don't have the reference handy, but I know it's true. To the pure, they shall see God. Can you see love and truth in every moment? It's right there in front of our eyes, until we willfully create patterns of denial. This is from my personal experience, okay? So the goal that each of us want to be, and please trust me, right? Whether it's from the Buddha, whether it's from any philosophy, especially from the Christ, the message is love, selfless love, love without conditions, right? Because love without conditions is infinite. There's no limit. And to become one with our Creator, it is infinite experience of love, of joy, of bliss, of delight, of heavenly experiences. I want to toss, this is a little off, but this was a thought I was considering earlier. Consider this. What if this life, this three-dimensional, it could be a simulation, right? A simulated experience for us to develop and refine our character for the purposes, it's preparation, right? Here on earth, it's like the battleground of what are we going to do when you got free will, when you don't know who you are? What are you going to do in the dark? And the idea is to refine our characters here in this virtual experience of mortality so that we can truly experience life in heaven. Because heaven, imagine, heaven would be filled with love, filled with bliss, filled with just the ecstasy of simply being. I didn't know that was possible in this body. I didn't think it was. See, because I thought life was a lot of suffering, and I thought it was tough to survive. And I felt alone, and I was afraid. And today, I'm no longer afraid to admit I was afraid. Today, I'm no longer afraid to admit or to ask for what I hope. So, here. So, the idea is with or without religion, what helps you as a being, as a human being, because that's who I'm speaking to, man or woman, a being of consciousness in a meat suit like me, that, how was it described? A featherless biped mammal. Praise God. God is so divine, so amazing. And when I mean God, the only way I can know God is through everything that I've learned about this reality, right? From the history to the philosophies to the stories of other human beings like you and me. Jesus is one, the Buddhas are one, Carl Jung, um, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, God bless their stories too that are being created and happening and enabled. The idea is conditionless acceptance, accepting what is true, regardless of opinion. That's the goal for all of us, because once we can accept things without our opinions, we can accept and understand a little better, continuing to wonder more. But once we judge with our approval or disapproval, we kind of form an opinion and we close our mind. And once a mind is closed, well, be careful. Only you can reopen your own mind. Only you can reevaluate your own opinion. I encourage you, find out. Challenge yourself to find out, where am I wrong? Where have I been wrong? What am I going? What is true? What is real, right? Because if we're afraid to be wrong, how the hell are we going to learn greater knowledge? We've got to be able to press in and allow ourselves to grow. And if we're going to allow ourselves to grow, then that means allowing others to grow in our minds, in our hearts. To allow ourselves to grow, you got to let go of the past. You got to learn how to accept today for where you are, how you are, who you are right now. And then, okay, first accept who you are and where you are right now, and then humble yourself to the possibility, the probability of God's perfection. See, God's perfection doesn't really have a lot of coincidences. There's mysteries. There's a lot of mysteries in God's creation, but it is a perfection. There's a perfect order to time and energies and climate. And I mean, just, it's amazing, this world in which we live in, where we experience, how we experience, the design of the human body, the way we can experience pain and pleasure. Holy cows, man. I prefer the pleasure side. Now that I've learned to lean that way, I prefer to know pleasure, like an abundance of pleasure. I've mentioned this before. My practice of prayer, you know what? Praise God. By the grace of God, I'm allowed to practice my life this way. I don't know what the future's going to bring, but I have faith in miracles. So every day, by the grace of God and mercy conditions of my experience, I'm allowed to spend a little bit of time every day in meditation and prayer. And in doing that, I unite my experience, me, Jack. I get to experience bliss every single day. And I don't skip. I don't skip. Because what brings me bliss is, well, it's many things. There's a lot of variables involved that are logically shown to have been part of the bliss that I experienced, but it really comes down to a surrender to the stillness and the silence that's available in the presence of this moment. And then I do my prayers and I invite and I thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this present moment that I am. And God, I seek to be one with you. I don't want to stray from you again, God, for I know you are in the present and I know you are my future. And I seek to grow in my relationship with you, God. And with that, I also offer my gratitude. Thank you, Jesus, Yeshua. Thank you to the Buddhas, to the yogis, to the philosophers, to the psychologists. Thank you to God, the glory of God, the one Almighty, and humbly, the Lord of love that I follow. Jesus. I mean, he is amongst many, but he is above in my heart. And I believe in the path and the purpose of this time that we're sharing together. You know, I love you guys. Here, I'm going to flow a little more. You guys in the chat. I love you. We are one. I am you, you are me. It's just one being that is the experience, and we are that experience. Hey, blessings for your support and trust, Goblin. You're a good man too. Hey, that's right. Sincerely, Goblin, please share your link. I don't know if you have or not, but I saw you uploaded a couple of videos recently. They caught my attention. Some great stuff you were sharing. I encourage folks, check out Goblin Majesty and what he's putting out. Brief, unlike me, I get a little long-winded. And he dropped some good stuff. Blessings sincerely, all of you guys. Where I was going, conditionless acceptance, right? Consider this. If you can settle into the present moment and feel the peace within yourself, to know love is like the expansion of gratitude. Oh, I heard this earlier from that Thoughts on Thinking young man. Love is love without selfless love. It's an unconditional positive regard. Consider that, a positive regard. That is what a love is. And then the idea is to remove the conditions for what you can regard as positive. See the good in all things. God is the good. The goodness is abundant. It's just by the grace of God that we get to see, that we get to know, that we get to experience anything. It's all by the grace of God. In my words, my perspective, it feels right, you know? Because see, through humility, we can allow ourselves to get out of the way, to try and align with the infinite will, the infinite love of God shown through life. And life is only lived through moments. We could be done today. We don't know the future. So the idea that I follow, I suggest, I've been talking about this in many different ways through these live streams, and especially the monologues, is the way of life is love. The way of love is honesty. That's literally, if you set those simple goals for yourself, I'm going to be kind and honest. Because if you start being truly, truly honest to yourself, with yourself, you'll realize maybe those excuses you've been telling yourself, holding yourself back, maybe the blame that felt so good, felt so right for so long, the blame that other people agreed with. Oh, yeah, you should never forgive them. Yeah, that's unforgivable. We live in a world of confusion where the confused have been enabling problems. Can it not get more obvious? Please, let me say this again. We live in a world of the confused where the confused have been enabling problems. The problems are abundant, right? As are the opportunities. So here, the confused lack clarity. They lack presence. The confused are those who are carrying around their misery and their bitterness because they're clinging to the past memories. Or you got the other people that are so focused on goals, so work driven, so ambitious, no time to rest, gotta get the job done. That's the other extreme, is the chaos. It's just chaos, man, in the world we live in. People get ideas, they get a plan, and then they're so fixed on the plan they can't see the life that's around them. The family that's waiting for them to return from work, and all those hours thrown out for someone else, man. So where did this come from? Something I wrote down. I don't know how to connect this. Oh, well, I heard a term too the other day. Let me swing it back, right? So we live in a land of confusion. Why? Why do we live in a land of confusion? Let's be honest. Because God allows it to be this way. But I'm going to keep going because this is going to tie back around between the balance, the love, and the freedom. How God allows us to separate from love or freedom or whatever we want to do. So one of the things I realized, or I wrote down, is the things we encounter in life, the world is not the problem. The problem we encounter in the world, it's our relationships and our thoughts. Okay, that's the relationship to the self, that's relationship to the thoughts, that's the relationship to the being, to the thing, to the experience. It's our thoughts and our relationships. Those are perspectives. We can allow perspectives to go. We can allow thoughts to go. We can allow relationships to go, or, especially if they don't feel good. I used to loop in my mind with these bitter I had a close relationship in my mind, brought me a lot of bitterness. And that close relationship was my unforgiveness with my ex-wife. And I didn't necessarily blame her, but I blamed myself. Man, I was punishing to myself. I stopped caring about me for so long. But I'd never stopped caring for those around me. That's got to be clear. And I swear, when anyone from my past actually returns to my life, I think they'd be honest about that. I showed the signs. I didn't care about myself, but I deeply, deeply cared about everyone around me. Today, let's expand that, multiply it by like tenfold. But since God doesn't really allow a lot of people into my experience but me, I just keep serving me. I serve me so much pleasure, so much time with thoughts on God, my heart filled with joy and gratitude just for the fact that I get to be me. I feel humble because if what I believe is true, If what I believe is true, this Jack Talcott story, the Talcottian adventure that all of us have found ourselves a part of, if what I believe is true, there's some incredible things yet to come. Because my story, the way I'm seeing it, the way I'm feeling it, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I align myself openly, as clearly as I can, as I align myself with love. Now I worship the truth as though it's God, and I allow love to lead my day. And I believe that is the way that the Christ was showing us. And so this actually, I'm going to bring this back to personal adventure. Admittedly, I got up this morning and my faith was, my energy was down. And I was like, what's going on with this? And then I remember the negativity I got to experience last night. I was having some fun with Illumitami. For those who know our friend Illumitami and his channel, I visited him after the stream yesterday. Well, he visited the stream yesterday, and I visited his, and then I got to sit through some just absolute toxic negativity from our old friend Flow State and Margot. It's like unbelievable, man. So admittedly, the negativity, it got into my head and I started wondering about it. What the hell is going on? And then I realized, you know what? I don't care. I don't care because I know who I am. I know what I am doing. I know where I've been. I know what I have done. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we get to be alive right here and now because, man, life is short. Live it up. Sincerely, live the hell out of your life. How do you live the hell out of your life? You fill your day with joy and pleasure. You eliminate the hate and the discontent and the pain and the suffering, and you replace it with joy and pleasure and fulfillment and gratitude. All the good stuff, man. All the good stuff. You missed some really good stuff yesterday. I offer a lot of positivity, so welcome back. I hope you find the positivity today. The I heard a term also regarding this idea of conscious interiority. I don't have it written out, but the interior voices that we can become aware of. Hey, we've got a guest and someone I don't think I've talked to in a few little bit. Welcome back, Tarek. How you doing today, brother?
Jack, how are you? I'm doing great.
I am feeling blessed.
I am glad. I heard you say the flow state and the Margot. I was gonna let you know that it got worse too at night. I was trying to sleep and I heard them talk and I had to get up and say something to Margot like at 1:30 or 2 o'clock at night.
Oh my goodness, man. Um, thank you. You
you
know,
know, you I don't know what to tell you, Jack.
hey, I know. I appreciate you. These people, I kind of feel bad for them. I was trying to get there. Everyone around us, right? All of us are in this same boat together. We are all experiencing this life together, whether we like it or not. What is real is real. And the patterns between Margot, Flow State, and Paul Unslaved, they are so similar in their patterns and behavior, and yet they deny it about amongst themselves. It's like, oh my goodness. And then they want to think
Yeah,
They all think. They all want to think not just do they want to think. They want to convince everyone else they encountered. They want everyone to believe that they're better than me, and I don't understand why. It's illogical.
Yeah, you got to add Cynthia and Chuck. They're also hating on you last night. But I got to say something about Flow State and Paul a little bit. Flow State, to me, just to me, my perspective of this whole thing, when he gets on you like this, he's calculated. He's not doing it, I think, out of hate. He's doing it out of just him getting more people to his channel so they could talk about the situation and he can just get more maybe views and cloud. On the other hand, for example, Margot, I just get a really bad vibe from her, you know?
Yeah.
And I told her yesterday, like, if you don't let this thing happen naturally, I said, okay, let's just say Jack is failing, right? Let's just say Jack's failing. Why don't you let him fail by himself? Why do you keep putting him down and saying all kind of crap and all the BS? And I told her yesterday, you're on record. Not gonna go your way, I promise.
Hey, Tarek, thank you. You did the polite thing by pointing out and reminding him, hey, if you're wrong, it's on record. You're saying what you're saying. And yes. The thing about that's what I mean about Flow State and Paul. They're both on here. They're similar to me, right? We live stream often and open the panel up. It's similar to me, but different than me. Paul and Flow State are on here using content for entertainment, and they're grifting. They're like, yeah, hands out, give me money, give me fiat, because I'm giving you content. I'm giving you entertainment. It's like, what the fuck? I'm suggesting, hey, let's change lives. Let's change lives together. Let's create a better world. Let's end the wars. Let's take life a little more seriously, is what I'm suggesting. And now, Jack, I'll be interviewing your neighbors to see if they feel better now that you've been forcefully removed from your home. Like,
what is all that about? Like, what's the hate? And like, man, just the tone last night too. She said it on Flow State again about the neighbors and all kind of stuff. I'm like, man, I gotta go up and say something. I was almost asleep, Jack. I couldn't do it. I gotta go up and say something. I said something to her. I told her, you're a city worker. Margot, just in case you're listening, I know you probably are because you have no life. But just in case you're listening, you are a city worker. That means you are making your city look bad on the internet. Just to let you know, the things that you say outside work reflect on your reputation where you work at. So remember that, because it will reflect the city. They're not going to be happy with your actions.
Yes, it will be her actions. And in the past, I used to get angry because I was taking the attacks personally. And then, I was frustrated. I couldn't figure out, how the hell do I get this lady to stop attacking me? And I tried bribing her. I invited her. I said, I'll pay. When I had some money, I think I offered her thousands of dollars. Please, let's have a conversation and discuss your opinions, and let's find out what is real. Wait, I don't get it. Paul and Margot says, do not to do this. We should not talk the truth about their behavior. They are probably saying not to do this because, see, Paul and Margot, they've got this crazy idea in their heads that they control other people. And it's actually insane. That's why they're constantly telling other people what to do.
I get it, but Jack, I don't think Paul is at all like Margot. Paul is so. I'll give him one thing, okay? I give him more than one thing, even though I don't agree with him on some things. Is I think. Like he streamed you yesterday, right? He was putting Jack Talcott things, and Hank came and said that, why is he bashing you? And I have said that before myself, but you have to understand the brilliance of Paul. He's not really shaming you. He's doing it to make sure to get a laugh out of it, to make sure that his people still watch you from his channel, and also to keep your relative to him. That means you're still in the same back and forth mechanism, push, pull, push, pull. So he's controlling the situation. And on top of that, he'll go back and forth on his opinions, how he wishes to do it, because he's a good, good speaker. So there's more to it than he just putting me on the channel to bash me. No, it's not about that, Hank. I promise you, it's not.
I think you might be giving Paul a little more credit than he's earned, more credit than he has shown worthy of. How about that? Because I don't like the idea.
Maybe.
The similarities I bring up between Margot and Paul is my personal experience. Margot has been a part of my experience since in the middle of my labor dispute, as the Postal Service was wrongfully accusing me and wanting to, they manufactured these disciplines, and I was trying to fight for my career and my justice despite my union reps avoiding me. So Margot somehow got involved in that chaos and was supporting my union reps' choice to avoid me, as Margot refused to talk with me. And it was like, what the fuck is going on here? So Margot has been publicly mocking me on Facebook and Messenger several years, like 2018, 2019. She's been like this opposition towards my happiness and joy and success. And then I encountered Paul Unslaved. And then Margot finds a way that, she loves people who oppose me. That's how she became good friends with my old friends.
Everybody,
yeah. So Margot has chosen, she's a huge supporter of Paul Unslaved and Flow State. Why? Because they both want to use me and oppose me. Just like Margot does. Curious. It's fascinating.
She's something else, Jack, and I can, I figured it out real quick, but yesterday she also said on Flow State, she brought this up. I don't know if this is something she re-said before or not. She said, I just want to make sure, just in case Jack meets a woman, he tries to fool her with his, tricks and say she has money. I don't want it to fall. That's why I'm doing this. After I told her what I said, Joe Cool and everybody said, oh my God, is Tarek threatening her? I said, dude, I left, of course. I would never threaten anybody. All I said was, Margot, I promise you, if you don't let this thing go naturally, it's not going to go your way. That's not a threat at all. I'm just saying, that's my spiritual energy telling you that. So they went on this thing and said I was threatening all that kind of BS, right? But she's a city worker, Margot. I can pull all your records, honey. They're all public, I promise. I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm saying I can pull all of them. Absolutely. So be careful with your words. You're trying to shame people.
Well, I encourage you. The truth is the truth. We have a responsibility of sharing the truth, offering the truth, standing for what is true. But we don't have to get upset about it. And
yeah, I agree with you.
Margot, bless her. There was a couple of them. Somehow, see, my old union friends, there's a guy I've been trying to communicate, Charles Smith. I mean, due to accommodations and our trust, he and I shared a bed together at a union conference, right? So this friend of mine stopped talking to me after I called him the day I was contemplating being done. He hasn't really talked to me ever since. And Margot found her way to support him and others who opposed me. So, Margot is like a weird part of my past. And I don't want to, could be possessed. She could be possessed with.
Yes, she could be.
Memories, So.
Jack, here's the thing I see, okay? She keeps saying, remember, she said before, 3 weeks ago, that she's never going to say your name again, ever. She did it for 3-4 days on Flow State. Yeah, she did it for 3-4 days on Flow State. She didn't mention your name. Said that guy. Now we're
Tarek,
back to the same thing, Margot.
thank you. And you know what? It's another indicator of her lack of honesty. She says things that are not true. She probably says things and doesn't follow through. I know she's been bragging about me being evicted for several years now. And I've got records to prove it. Like you said, Tark, anything she's doing, public record.
It's on
And I
record.
got records and records and records, Margot, you know, and yes, blessings. And yeah, I'm finally, it feels I'm gaining support. And so, Margot, flow state. When you get out of your echo chamber around Chucky Boy and
And Cynthia, she talked a lot of trash yesterday.
did she?
Oh yeah, she went on for a little bit, not as much as they did, but she put her words in there. And then of course, Margot was also bragging that she was 6 inches taller than you. What kind of person brags I'm 6 inches or 5 inches taller than somebody? I don't get that self insecurity.
It's egoic. This is the thing, Tarek. The patterns of the human ego which makes us look like fools. It's obvious. It's the arrogance, the self-centered part. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's the thing. She keeps saying like ending wars and stuff like that. This is your dream, your thing. Okay, I don't think you're perfect, but again, nobody is. So Mark, before you say, oh, maybe he's then they brought the delusional part again, a mental thing. They keep bringing it up because that's what they go towards to break somebody. And I'm like yesterday, nobody's perfect. I gotta still work on myself. Everybody's got to work on themselves. So if somebody's gonna fail, let them fail on their own. If you don't want to help them, since you're that hateful.
Right. Yeah. If you want someone to fail, well, at least walk away. Don't be more. Well, I think I text Flow State this morning because I'm seriously curious. I don't understand what he believes he's achieving by attacking someone like me the way he has online publicly. It makes absolutely no sense. I've done nothing to harm him or Margot. She's even admitted she's gone after me because she's imagined me harming the neighbors. Not that I did. So we live in a world where people allow their thoughts and their imaginations to control them. This shit is insanity.
It is insanity, but I still think, just my opinion, it's Flow State is still much smarter than all of them in terms of the psychology. He's doing it just because he's got Chuck, he's got Cynthia, he's got all these people that don't like his panel. The more he brings it up to his panel, it brings more people to talk about it, brings more views. And yesterday, he even said one thing I think good about you because they were like trying to go at you so much, and he disagreed on one thing. I forgot what it was. So I don't think Flow State hates you per se. I think he's just more calculated, and I think Margot just won't leave you alone. There's something wrong with her. I don't know what it is. She got to do it herself, but yeah, something wrong there.
I know what it is. I represent both of them. I represent Flo to him, and I represent Margot to her because Margot, especially because of her profession and what she studied, and she's constantly comparing the two of us, insisting she's got to prove everyone that I'm worthless compared to her. And then Flow State, similarly, brilliant mind, very. I mentioned, I'm honest and humble. I've allowed myself to learn from him, but he thinks I'm wrong in everything. And it started out just with economics. But then when I started pointing out his behavior, that his opposition of economics was actually getting in the way of what I was really doing, when I pointed out his behavior, then he started turning against me and took everything personally, found an excuse when I shared the excitement I felt about discovering news of my son. And then he turned that into something horrible. And then, he's got Chuck the mouth breather, fucking
Oh yeah.
just complaining about everything, and you know, and then
Oh yeah.
all these personalities, dude. I can analyze and describe every one of them and their inner stuff and why they're doing what they're doing, but until they want to know, doesn't matter. And they won't
Yep.
change until they want to know what they're doing. And they don't want to know what they're doing because they think they are right. See, brothers and sisters, this, what I am doing here, we are demonstrating human behavior. I'm doing my best to kind of explain what I see. And, you know, I may be wrong, but the truth is what is true. And I believe God is using all of us. And I trust that there will soon be miraculous transformations shared here. If not live, we'll see the results of these miraculous transformations as people have a shift and a change in what they think. Because I tell you what, a changed mind changes lives. And only an ego, only an ignorant and foolish, closed minded ego allows, doesn't allow its mind to change. That was actually one of
Yeah.
my thoughts today, is how stupid it is to be closed minded.
Yep. Some are closed-minded, Jack, and some I think they're just like a little, click.
Yep.
They find their spot and they're gonna attack you altogether. Because yesterday, Cynthia, after I made that remark to Margot, she said again that Tarek only likes to do this to women. And again, Cynthia, the first fight I had was with Paul and Slave because of you, Venus, and Bex because he distracted you on Jack's panel. And the next fight I had was with somebody also as bigger than Paul in terms of his broadcast and his connection, maybe Monograph. So I would go back again before you say dumb shit on the internet that I like to pick on women. No, I'm just standing for the truth. I don't like when you guys do that to people. Doesn't matter if it's Jack. I don't care who it is. It's not right.
You know, this is the world we live in, though, Tarek, in the bigger picture. What's happening around me, what I'm confident, I'm just like everyone else. I have a different perspective and I'm experiencing a little bit different things. But what is happening around me, I see as a small, it's a micro of the macro. I see the same behavior happening around me on these YouTube panels and in my neighborhood, my community. I see similar patterns throughout the world in the way the world is run. So, this is the patterns of life. Here we are. We're here today. So, just because things have been the way that they were in the past does not mean the past is controlling us or our future. And what I trust is our God, our God has a perfection. There is an absolute control, and I trust, at least from my perspective, there's an absolute perfection to the way God reveals all things. All things are thoughts.
All we can do is wish better for people. That's all I can say. And again, Margot, I also wish you well. Just because I said what I said and I stand what I stand does not mean I don't wish you well. I just think you're pushing the envelope too much. Let it happen naturally if it's going to happen, and stop picking on people like Jack or anybody else.
Amen. Hey, Tarek, I tried pointing this out to others, but really a good motto to live by. One should never point a finger when they're not willing to lend a hand. Okay, and it's got to be honest. Margot has not been honest about helping me, right? And I encourage others to encourage Margot to try and make up for what she's admitted that she was maybe not wonderful in the past. I don't want to exaggerate or misquote, but generally she has admitted that there were times that things could have been different. Anyone who runs into her or Flo or anyone else, please encourage them. There's ways that they
Yeah.
could help me.
Yeah, and she also yesterday lied again. Like dude, this lady lies so much just on the internet. And
Mhm.
Margot, it's gonna look bad on the city if I ever put a complaint against you, because you're lying so much that it's gonna make your job look bad. But yesterday she lied again and said Jack only weighs 110 pounds. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can tell by somebody's face and their cheeks and their body how much they weigh because I used to train people. He does not weigh 110 pounds. Calm down. Then she corrected herself after the freak said 110 pounds. Like, oh, maybe 145, 150. So it went from 110 to 150.
Dude, I we live in a world where lies have been enabled. Right? I'm not going to really point fingers and blame. I do trust that God will hold people accountable for what they say and what they do. I believe in karma. I believe in justice. I believe in God's justice, not man's. I have
Yep,
faith
not
in God.
nice.
Yes. Well, and this is the thing. We were born into a world where we've been enabling man to punish man,
Yep.
for man to judge man, for man to exploit man. This world, well, I trust we're here to change the world. Hey, we've got another guest joining. Welcome back to Freak.
Hey, Jack. There's a
Yes,
lot
What's
I
up,
want to talk about. If I can,
please.
ask you some questions.
Sure.
Does your wife know Margot, your ex-wife?
Mine? I don't believe so.
You don't believe so, okay? Do your
No.
kids go to school together or something?
According to her, they attend the same university or
What about high
college.
school or something? Or
I don't know about I don't know if they attended high school together.
yeah. So do you feel like she towers over you? Like, when she says she's 6 foot something or whatever.
She's taller than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't tower over me, but she's taller than me. Yes.
She's not
And
6'1". I can guarantee you that. I know how tall she is. Just to let you know. I just don't say anything. I know how tall she is.
all right. I'm
Yeah.
only go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna offer. I'm only 5'8". Maybe a little more right around there, whatever. About that.
Yeah. I'm not even close. So anyhow, let's see what else is going to ask. Oh, you sure your ex-wife and Margot like didn't speak or don't speak now or like gossip or anything like because girls talk about stuff like then this girl she wrote a whole book about like peni and everything.
No, I'm pretty certain. I don't think she ever met my ex-wife because I got the addiction really set in after my ex-wife and we didn't talk. We didn't co-parent well. We didn't communicate very well. Then after I got sober, uh, she was never part of the recovery. She didn't come to any of the stuff Margot would have been at.
Have you ever read her book?
No.
You know what
Margot's?
her book what her book is about or anything? I think it's like the whole like male ego projection penal relation type of pseudoscience therapy thing.
I heard
Is that
her
about right?
I heard her talking something about that, some thesis or something she wrote, and it seemed
Pretty interesting, huh?
shows what's within her and her mind, certainly.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. Okay. So
The
I'm
freak,
gonna
I can ask
actually
you one
post.
question real quick. Just one question before you. People usually like older people a little bit when they get to a certain age, especially women. They seem to write books when they really sometimes are lonely. Just go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna post some scripture in the chat, and hopefully it goes in right. But basically, this is Genesis 3:16. I really want to focus on the last part of it. We hear all about the feminists say, men are pigs, gross, sexual pervert, blah, 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 whatever. But it says here at the end here, it says, "And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall have rule over thee." Basically, what it's saying here is the women desire men. Okay, so when they say all this crap about their sex drive is less, they don't want sex. I mean, you go ahead, you believe them. I believe God. Okay, so I'm not buying any of this BS or whatever. And if there's a chick this hot on your trail, Jax, it's inevitable. It's just inevitable. Okay, it's, in my opinion. So it's
She's
going to be
not
an
hot,
interesting
man.
summer.
I'm
It's going to be
sorry.
an interesting summer.
No, I suppose I can respect your perspective and how you come to the conclusion, but no, I
Well,
see it the
a
other
woman's
way.
desires for a man and a man's desires for God. That's the way I see it, and it's in God's word. And
All
I
right,
believe Him. You gonna believe some
all right.
woman or me or
No,
God?
no, I won't deny that could be part of the pattern there. I certainly have a love for God, but I do not feel much love from that woman, and so I view it more as Margot has been a beautiful test of the darkness for me to deal with and to overcome the darkness within myself. She's shown me a lot of darkness. And so, by God's grace, I continue to learn and I encourage people, please. Margot has no clue what she could learn from me, through me, with me. I mean, she studied things I may not have fully understood. I just learned today about someone named Carl Rogers, I think, psychologist, humanist psychology. Yeah, Carl Rogers, humanistic psychology with a person-centered focus. Something that intrigued me today. And person-centered focus, that means focusing on the person, on the being, on the spirit that is the being in the present. Identifying the
Yeah.
self. Go ahead, please.
I go to the boss. I go to the word. I don't. A lot of this pseudoscience is just charismatic people selling you a different branded version of some vague generalities. And I think it's getting twisted down to the point that communists are obscuring it so much that it's going to be another piece of subversion, and everyone's going to be wondering with their DICK in their hand, like, what the heck's going on? What's happening? That's what's happening. You're being subverted. Anyway, Tommy was talking trash in the chat if he wants to say anything or whatever, because he was
But
totally being
yeah,
lame.
yeah, but that freak Tommy, at least I'll give you one thing. Tommy is also very smart and bright. Yesterday, for example, when Margaret told him, "Oh, Tommy, you're my daddy," and she's like, whatever, he told her right away, "I'm not your daddy, and if you're a Christian woman, you don't talk to people like that. Nobody should be your daddy." So he checked her right away, and he also checked Alpero when he was trying to quote something because he was off a little bit. And I agree that you have the right to go to different cities and do whatever in terms of like businesses and address the city. I agree with that. But Tommy was trying to ask him a question relative, what do you do in that situation? And kind of, a little bit, he diverted off the question. So Tommy is not stupid. I'll give him that. He's not stupid. He is bright.
I don't know. He banned me from his chat because I said that Tommy would make anyone to drink that was on his couch or something. In this chat, in Jack's chat, that's why he banned me, because I said Tommy will drive anyone to drink, and he banned me on his freaking thing.
That was hilarious,
really?
man. He kicked you.
It's ridiculous, Tommy. You're supposed to be like the king troll and dude, man, Anyway, I got another piece of scripture, Jack, if you don't mind.
Please.
This is Isaiah 14:31, and I would describe this as present reality, prophecy, present reality occurring right now in real time, here in the world, right now. It's news, it's happening, it was prophesied, okay? I'm talking about Palestine, what's going on over there, okay? And so, when you talk about your vision for the world and how you see things and how it could be better and this love and this everything, I love those ideas. I really do appreciate them. I mean, it's great to think about, but God also has his own vision. And sometimes if we're not in the same boat or pattern or alignment, we could get completely derailed off of what we think we want or someone else want, or the big picture kind of wants. And that's really all I kind of want to say. I could show you another one that
So does that mean you don't want to join? Is that
no,
is that a
I'm not
reason?
saying that. I'm just saying that it's good to be aware of some of the things that we see so that we can align a little bit with what is going to happen per him and not get railroaded in the meantime.
Should
Like,
we focus on what we think will happen, or should we focus on what we can accomplish? See, this is where I think the world is confused, the masses, and I'm not sure what
yeah,
I'm
that's a
not sure
great
what you
point.
okay, so you're offering these things that are pointed out in Revelation, and what are you suggesting it has to do in relationship with what I'm saying? You're saying I should
Well,
not pursue what I'm saying
no, I'm not
because
saying that at
okay,
all.
all right.
What you said is what should we focus on, and I think we should focus on those things that you talk about, but also have the his big picture in the picture. That's really all I'm saying.
I believe his big picture is just as was taught and shown through the words of Yeshua, Jesus. The way is love. Love God, love one another, and guess what? The return of Christ is here. Christ, the Spirit, Christ is eternal as God is eternal. It's always been here. It's up to each of us to learn of, to know of, to seek, to discover, to experience for ourselves. But when we unite with love in as ourselves, and with each other, guess what? We are the return of Christ. We get out of our way, all of our insecurities and all of our memories and all of our plans, even, and we allow God's love to lead. And believe me, allowing my mind and my heart to expand within the idea of aligning with the infinite possibilities of a creator, aligning with infinite possibilities of love. Well, my goal is to be a disciple of Jesus. As I view Jesus and the story from 2,000 years ago, he walked the world to share love, to share the truth of God's love. I've been saying that I suspect this, live without fear, which was inspired by the Bible and the teachings of Jesus. I believe this live without fear is my message as a man today to share with the world, because the way to live without fear is the way taught and shown by Jesus. You live with love. Love brings us to faith. Love brings us to the truth. But we've got to stop allowing excuses and blame to prevent us from God's goodness and everything that could be.
Yeah. Interpersonally, I think that you're right on target.
Thank you.
And the dealings with our community and the people around us, definitely bullseye right on target. But some of these geopolitical events are going to happen whether we are being nice to our neighbor or not.
Okay, but let's not be so sure, okay? Because let's play it through. Yeah, we're not nice to our neighbor. Things continue as they are. Everyone's in it for themselves. Maybe we plant a garden and we make sure we're on our own and protected, armed up against the neighbor, or we start loving our neighbors. And as we start communicating with our neighbors and discussing the truth about this nonsense geopolitics that's actually happening, right? We shouldn't be in denial. We shouldn't stay ignorant or keep enabling the ignorance of those around us. I'm guilty of enabling the ignorance around me because I can't see. Despite my best efforts, I've been unable to get the attention of people around me, which is why I'm here online. Okay. So
It's a puzzle. It's a big puzzle. We're all trying to put it together, and we all contribute to the essence of the singularity of the good mind. If we're aligned that way, but uh, you know the way God talks about this place and this world is it's not going to be here forever. It's not going to stay here the way it is. You know, it's going to be renewed.
Neither
It's
are
going to be
we.
replaced.
Yeah, we
In
are
the
only here
scripture,
now. I'm sorry to
right?
interrupt, but yeah, so what if the world, so what about the future? So what about the past? We live today. I know that if we work together, loving our neighbor, talking about, hey, you guys aware that, you know, there's a lot of corruption and stuff, and maybe, well, my idea is, hey, share with the neighbor the idea that if secrets were not legal, that maybe wars would end. Or another idea, if people around our world didn't enable lies, right, for profit, people enable profitable lies, non-disclosure agreements, non-compete agreements, all of this, backdoor dealing. That's, we all know it's happening in our governments. So why are good men and women not doing more? Why? Are they afraid? Yep. Afraid and selfish. That's why billionaires exist. Billionaires are afraid and selfish. And the only way they exist, billionaire class, is by convincing the masses that it's okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. The problem is the place that you're talking about in this world, and the neighbors and the getting along and the peace and the love and the greatness. That place exists already, but it's called heaven. It's not going to be in this world, unfortunately, according to the Word of God. Now we could strive to get there, and I do think that we should strive, but we have to also have that understanding that this is a corrupted world. It's going to probably get worse.
Well, wait.
And
wait. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
You want things to get worse?
No, I mean, I would love to be
Okay.
in heaven
All
right
right.
now.
All right. That's why I interrupted you. Because you're saying things will probably get worse, and then, but what you're doing is you're kind of ignoring what's right here. And here we've got another guest. I want to come back to this conversation. It's
Hey, Jack.
Welcome back. How are you, our friend Nemesis?
I think like my issue doesn't stem with so much as you as some of your guests here don't like me.
Well, okay. Let's not worry about issues as much. Okay.
I don't want to. I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I like to talk about the truth.
All right. Well, you're in the great place because the Freak and I were having some great conversations, and Tarek, we were having great conversations.
And I have nothing against Nemesis.
Paul is restreaming you, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
It is.
Oh, he always does, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I do appreciate that there's a possibility my words are reaching the ears and minds of others. I was actually disappointed. I don't know if I mentioned it. I spent a little bit of time on Paul's stream the other day, thought the energy was fun and good time, only to go back and see him just as in the opening of my stream, he starts insulting me. And it's like, wow. He's so duplicitous. He shows he's such a hypocrite. He is so untrustworthy, unreliable, and yet, praise God, people want to donate and give him money so he doesn't have to work.
Okay, so like he's partially right. Yes, they are road pirates, and we shouldn't have to register our vehicles. However, I mean the problem is government. It's not.
Yes,
it's not, and money, and what's the other one? Religion. That's
power.
the three.
Religion.
All right.
That's true Satanism. That's what. That's Satanism, and you don't have to believe it. It's just what it is.
Hey, right. Well, actually, I'm curious. Tarek and DeFreak are both very. I was wondering, you guys have familiarity with the idea of the Ahrimanic versus the Luciferian ideas?
I have a little bit, yeah.
I can't say that I do.
Okay. Welcome, Hank. I was listening to some discussions today. and I don't want to get into detail where it was from because everyone's got an opinion on everything. But the idea was the creating the distinction, the separation from the Luciferian personality and archetype from the satanic archetype, and supporting it through history and other stuff. But the idea of the Luciferian is the it is the light of wisdom, light of wisdom and logic that actually proves that this life doesn't matter. So do what you want. That's what
Okay. I think that. Yeah. I think that you have an overactive right side of your brain right now. I think that
Here,
this life does
yeah,
matter, Jack.
I know. Here, let me bring it back. So then the other opposite side of that is the Ahrimanic, which is what I actually used to view as the satanic. The Ahrimanic, I guess, is the idea of the material, of the form. And then as you get into the material and the form, then you get into the selfishness. See, the satanic way is the way of selfishness. That is, well, you're not going to follow temptation if you're not selfish, right? That's what Jesus was teaching, is selfless love. That's how we can live. That's how we want to live, is with selfless love, with an unconditional positive regard for every moment, finding the appreciation of every day, every experience, especially other people, especially the other people you encounter in your here and now. Go ahead.
There's an
Please.
issue with that. That means if we just malicious forces can just do whatever they want to anyone they want then. So there's actually some game theory in that. If we just not lock our doors anymore, let everyone share anything. someone who's super selfish can just take everything, say mine.
Yes.
So we have to have some ego just to keep them at bay.
Guys, we have to be smarter than this. The reason I keep coming back here is because there's intelligent presence. However, we have to tap into it. It's a think tank. Paul is correct. And Jack, you're correct. Okay, so the problem here, it has a common denominator. For one, back when the Constitution was written, the cars did not exist. All right. So what's happening here is there is some force. We don't know if it's other humans or some kind of entity. We don't know. But the going theory is there's something giving humanity technology that's giving it to the ruling class, and the ruling class is using that to control us. And that's how they've been able to do it throughout history. They did it first with guns and now through automobiles and, technology.
Here, please. Thank you for this. Again, Isaiah 6:5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. I realized I'd been a liar. I'd realized that I had disrespected the truth and myself for many years in my life. And then, by the grace of God, I chose to change. And once I chose to change and I found the value of the change, the ability of transformation, and I'm pretty sure it's the will of God, change being the will of God, bringing forth the love and life all the life that love can offer. I'm pretty sure that's what God wants.
No, it's definitely. You're describing the high vibrations. You're reaching out for the high vibrations.
I am.
It's good, and I feel it from you. That's what I feel from you. But even though you've reached a high vibration, the problem with that is that you reach such a high vibration that you no longer care about this stage of reality. That's what I mean is not you, but that's what the goal of the fascist right side is to get people to not care about so much this world as the next.
Correct. And I believe I believe, as it was said, that the kingdom of heaven, it is here, it is now. And I trust and believe, particularly when we follow the way of the Christ, follow the way of love,
I don't
humbly.
blame you, Jack, for not being able to give me what I want. I had to discover it for myself. What I wanted.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. In the present, Nemesis, there's no problem in the present. I mean, we can understand each other, and there's opportunities before you. I don't know what you've understood. I don't know what you've heard. I know some of the things you've said and done, but
Did he just say something like the fascist right want something or whatever?
yeah,
Well, how could you know that unless you were a right fascist?
he's been a Trump supporter for a while. I
Okay.
The
view
reason
Trump
that I
as
was a
not a
Trump
fascist.
supporter, the social engineers of our society have programmed uh, politics. Okay, so like Donald Trump, he doesn't know that it's not real. Like he thinks it's real,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
politics is
Oh
not real.
god.
It's not real. It's an
Yeah.
illusion. It was
I
Agreed.
know, but
created.
you think Trump doesn't know that? You
No,
got
he
to be
doesn't
kidding
Hey,
me. You
know.
think Trump?
no, dude, he
These people
totally
don't know.
believes these people don't know. I agree with Nemesis, man.
If they knew, then they would not participate.
Absolutely.
You're wrong. I think they're actors. All of them are great actors. They're
No, no.
performing, and you
It
know
would
what they're
be
getting
too.
paid
Think
for,
about.
and they
Wait,
have
wait.
to.
Let's ground ourselves here. Think about all of the actors necessary. That would be way too many.
Well,
It,
here's the
it would
thing.
be easier just to launch a program.
Here's the thing. In this creation where we have the freedom of choice, and we can live with the truth. We can live with what is real, or we can live in make believe. For a long time, our ancestors and everyone around us has been making believe that wars are, you got to have war. It's just a part of life. You got to have government. Just got to have taxes. No other way we can get along. We've been brainwashed and miseducated from the time we were young. And it wasn't, there's spiritual, there's spirit, there's evil, there's bad intentions, there's opposing forces, opposing energies, there's opposing ideas that do not want humanity to come together and unite. Because if humanity unites together with will of God, I cannot support the idea that God created all of us here on earth for us to continue paying for wars on top of paying for education and utilities and food and drink and water and blah, 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 blah.
I cannot figure out if you are you just putting your own spin on it. Like how much of like Larkin Rose, like how much have you delved into it? Like are you just
Nemesis, let me answer that. I've delved into it enough to know that there's experts who know far more details than me, but I have a strong enough grasp of the concepts and the main ideas of how corruption has been perpetrated and how corruption has been, well, the entire world, the majority of the world is insane today, right now, in this present moment. There are people all around this world who are insane at this moment with confusion, with fear, with greed, with lust. All sorts of impure thoughts and habits and patterns have corrupted their hearts. And there's a lot of suffering that's happening in this world today that does not have to happen. So, Nemesis, my God, my goal, and I believe it may perhaps be my destiny. I do not know what God has in store, but my dream and my prayers are to speak with the citizens of the United States government with the knowledge that they have access and connections to the global media as well as the other global leaders. And we can all discuss what it means to be alive. We can discuss what it means to be truthful. Especially, I'd love to have some discussions about what leadership can be and could be, and most importantly, should be. The world is suffering due to a lack of self leadership, which is a lack of upper leadership. So, this is also why I'm still pursuing conversations with the American Postal Workers Union national president, the Postmaster General of the United States Postal
Okay,
Service.
but why? But see, I think that's the disconnect. Why are you trying to talk to the government, knowing how evil that they are? So you're saying that you're like trying to reach people in government and try to, because what it is a cult.
Okay, so you're right. The cult mindset has resulted in the selfish culture of the American dream. The
I'm talking
American
about the
dream, hear
government
me out.
itself.
Hear me out. I know what you're saying, but what actually, here's a distinction. People have offered a lot of doubt because they actually haven't listened and considered and understood what I've said. Because the ways of the world, where people want to selectively choose what they think and believe, the ego mind, it denies. So what we've had in the past, the problem of our government and all this other stuff, our media, many relationships, people are talking at each other. They're not connecting heart to heart in the present. So I haven't found people willing, really, in my past experience, willing to do that with me today. But I know the day that I'm not alone, many doors of communication are going to open, and I'm still continuing to knock on doors. So anyone wants to help me knock on doors, help me get some doors of communication open to people who might like these ideas to come forth. Ending wars, number one, ceasefire immediately. And then we can properly deal with forgiveness of debts and negotiate ways to move forward, since humanity's been, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of orphaned children and murdered children in the war zones right now. There's a lot of people in this world who could use some help. And I think God created us, all of us, to serve the world, not just ourselves. And that's what the satanic path is. The satanic path is selfishness. You want to turn away from God? You want to turn away from love? Turn towards your selfishness. Fear is selfish. Hate is selfish. Anything that divides us is selfish, and it corrupts us. I learned this from experience, and it's supported by the scripture. It's supported by logic. It's the truth.
But the flaw that I'm hearing what you're saying is you're wanting to communicate with government officials, but the whole point of government is to create a hierarchy to where you are ruled by the politicians and the cops.
So what?
Okay,
so what does that mean
you
to
are
you?
a slave going to
Okay,
your
but wait.
master.
Well, if you believe that we are slaves and we are governed and that there's nothing we can do, there's no way to communicate and get other people to change their mind. Oh, you haven't changed your mind, Nemesis.
No, we can. However,
Thank you, Hank.
you're dealing with these individuals that exist in a group that they know what they're doing. They want to rule over you as a slave.
Wait a minute. Hold
Jack,
on.
I agree with Nemesis.
Well, hold on. I'm sure you do. I understand. The people who have Well, a lot of people have doubts and disbelief, and I understand that. But Nemesis, you just mentioned that we agree. You mentioned that you don't think Donald Trump actually understands how much of a game this really is. So why do you think all of the others, why do you think all of them know so much more? No, dude, this is Satan's land, and the way that Satan has ruled is through fear, confusion, division, manipulation. It does not have to be this way.
All right, but okay, we're forgetting some details here, Jack.
What's that?
Fear, Fear, scarcity, and acquiescence is how they've done it. The
Yes.
unholy trinity.
Yes,
But how is
absolutely.
fear created? Through
Confusion.
one of the 7 real deadly sins.
Well, hold
Through-
on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about the Catholic ones. I'm talking about the real deadly sins. I'm talking about
Tell you what, I'm
murder,
sorry. Yeah, I
rape,
didn't.
coercion, lying. I'm talking about things that could actually lead to death.
I didn't mean to interrupt. So the 7 deadly sins will bring us up to the fear, but let's
No,
break
the
down.
real 7 deadly, not the
Okay.
fake Catholic Church
Yes.
ones.
Right. Right. So, however, fear is, believe me, I assure you, fear is something I have considered. Right. Fear comes from our lack of answers. When we have answers, when we have clarity,
No, Jack, fear comes from them hurting us.
who can hurt you?
The government, the cops.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Here's a better life lesson I've picked up recently. We can only really be hurt if we believe we can be hurt. If you believe you're invincible, you may feel pain, you may encounter obstacles, you may encounter challenges, but who the fuck are you going to believe that you can be hurt? Who's going to tell you you can be hurt?
The
I
cops
used to
will
believe.
beat you up, take what you got, and put you in prison for the rest of your life if you don't do what they say.
Yep. If you believe that, you will create that reality for yourself, particularly if you encounter that situation. But here's
Well,
the
no,
other
that's the
outcome.
threat. That's the coercion. That's one of the 7
Right.
deadly sins.
Yep. And belief in that threat, the belief in that outcome, that keeps good men and women from taking actions because, there may be suffering if I do. Oh no, I can't suffer. Let's see, this is cowardice.
It's
I'm
not
sorry
the
to-
suffering, it's the sacrifice, knowing that you could die if you
Yes.
choose.
What do you
Great.
mean? Jesus died. I'm sorry, Jack. Jesus died on the cross, right? He got sacrificed, right? Or no?
Amen.
By
Yeah.
the government and
Okay.
religion.
Yeah, hold on. He was against the state. Now, hear me out for 1 second, Nemesis. Because you just said, see, I agree with you on something. Now I agree with Jack. Because Jack said that, what are you worried about? You said you're worried about being jailed. If you're a man of God, you're not worried about being jailed by these people if you don't let them go into your brain and fool you and scare you. How are you a man of God if you let them scare you?
I think that
If you
you
have to
don't.
die,
Okay,
then you have to die.
I
If you
guess
have to
that
go to
you're
jail,
still.
you have to go
I
to
guess
jail.
that you're still a what is it, Paul believer? You believe that in?
Paul
Okay, so
sovereign.
the
Go ahead.
Paul
Yeah,
in the
go ahead.
Jesus
Bible.
Christ.
Okay, listen. In the Bible, there was no King David. There was no Solomon.
What?
And Paul, all of that's not real. Everything Paul wrote's fake.
You're fake.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call Paul fake, you're 1,000 times faker than Paul. Because Paul
How
is
is
not
okay?
fake.
Let me explain.
Hold on.
Paul
Please.
said that if you
No.
obey government, the government will praise you. That was a lie.
But you
Nemesis.
don't believe him,
Hold
though.
on. Please. Nemesis, I suggest that you clearly do not have an intimate understanding of the teaching of Jesus if you believe that all of Paul's writings were fake, because there are deep spiritual truths within those words. Whether the author is credited appropriately or not, truth is true regardless. Wisdom is wise. We want to seek the wisdom, seek to know the
Can
truth.
you tell me the truth that Paul spoke? An example of it?
No. What are you refusing?
Well, for one, Paul was the one who got the Christians started about the gay people. There's nothing wrong with being gay.
Okay.
So that's
Here we
the
go.
division. Anything that divides
Well,
us
hold on.
into
Hold on.
smaller sections is
Mhm.
the lies.
Okay. Well, let's also take into account the responsibility of the reader, the responsibility of the one interpreting. That is very important. Most people don't like to take into account their own opinions as they read those things or try to understand, how does this actually apply to me? Is it just something I remember, or is this something that I live? I live it the best I can, at least from what I've what I
So,
understand.
so the reason Paul wrote those words was to divide people into denominations,
But you
Okay.
deny it though.
and the denominations, and even the word church comes from the Druidic system. The word Kirk. We're living under the white European Druid system, and
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. We could, history lessons are abundant. There's an immense amount of history we can continue to discuss. I'm really, really hoping to focus on the future, to be
no,
honest.
not history. This is the present. The white Druids create. Okay, what is true, Jack? What do we know as objective truth? Objective truth is what happened in the past and what's happening now. That is objective.
Okay.
So, what happened in the past was the white European Druids created the money system.
Okay.
Out of they
You
were a
sure about
branch.
that?
Yes.
Let it roll. Let it roll. Whatever. I don't understand the point of relevance to today.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the
They
here and
created.
now. The here and now, where we are right now in this joined shared experience. What is the relevance of your history lesson? I mean,
The relevance
actually,
of the history lesson is that I want to educate people on our actual history.
well, it seems you want to share what you view as bad opinions or negative opinions. And what I'm offering, let's trust. We've learned what we can, what maybe we can keep learning, keep growing. But the topic today,
Wait, one
conditionless.
second, Jack.
Yeah.
So these white Judeo, Druid, European, whatever, whoever, racist moneymakers, didn't they steal all that culture from someone else already at first, though?
Nemesis.
The Phoenician Canaanites. The word banker means
Right.
Canaan.
Yeah, it's been the money system. It's been part of the corruption for a long, long time.
But those Druids, they stole that from someone else because
So
they don't
what?
have. So they stole it, right? But they perpetuate what they stole onto everyone else,
No,
and
not
and
still.
that's the real history. That's the real history, right?
Created. They created. See, there's no such thing. The Jews were never in Egypt.
Oh my God. Did you experience that? Is this from your life experience?
Yeah,
Here,
yeah. It's
can we
from Jordan
please,
Maxwell's
can we,
research.
oh my
You
God.
know who Jordan
Is
Maxwell
it
Hey,
is?
possible your imagination, MC
yeah,
Nemesis? Is that at all possible, sir?
please. I'd love to get out of memories and imagination. Let's join in the present.
What's imagination about it? I don't understand.
Can you,
Jordan Maxwell did the research and he made videos and I listened to them and I learned.
okay, Nemesis, again, you're completely ignoring the present moment. Okay. What I'm talking about is let's chill out in your memories. You keep defending yourself, and I don't know, but here, this world we're born into, right? The world of war, the world of division and oppression, the world the money system has emerged through. This world does not have to be this way. Should we choose, should tell you what, I'm offering the invitation. Should you have any faith that that we can experience peace, right? And that you could be a part of bringing peace to the world, I actually think there's opportunities to pursue. Anyone interested?
Yes.
I thought so.
I just don't understand what you mean. Like, how can we have peace with our enslavers? I don't
Nemesis,
understand.
tell you what, the enslavers that you want to label, they're people like you and me, and they're alive right now at this time, just in a different place. So do you want to live in peace right now with them in this moment, or do you want to live unsettled and focused on them in your mind instead of the other four gentlemen here gathered with you?
Well, the other four gentlemen are not discussing reality. They're living in a fantasy land.
Well, I know that's the picture you're painting, but much of the conversation has actually been you doing exactly what you're saying.
I know
Painting
that
the
you think
picture.
I'm the one living in fantasy land, but it's actually you.
Nemesis, you want to bet?
I'm looking in the mirror right now.
I'm trying to get you out of your fantasy land, deprogram you.
Nemesis, stop trying to change me and recognize, right?
But you're in chains. I have the key. I want
Where you are, recognize where you are, Nemesis. This is not, I don't open this live stream up inviting, hey, does anyone want to come and teach me? Nemesis, you're not invited here to teach me. We can have conversations together, but you've really got to learn how to stop interrupting and pay attention to the topic instead of what you think. It's part of growing up and it's part of maturity. So
I'm trying to help you.
I know that you think that you are. However, what would help me the most is actually honest witnesses. I'm going to invite the four of you here on panel to join me in the present, paying attention to whatever happens in the next moments, because I'm going to go ahead and allow Mr. Nubs to return to my stream and offer more evidence of his character. Welcome, Nubs.
Can I ask
Hello, Jack.
Nemesis a question real quick?
Please
You're
go
gonna help
ahead.
him what are you trying to help him with?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, he said that.
Well, he just seems frustrated.
Help him what? Help Jack what?
Understand, like, I'm trying to help him. He wants to communicate with government officials.
Okay.
So
And
what?
he wants to work within government to accomplish his goals. I'm telling him
That's
that
not
he
accurate. Well, that's not
what you
entirely
said. You
accurate.
want to sit down with government officials.
Okay, Nemesis,
You
you know
want to
what?
sit down
Hey,
with
Nemesis. Most importantly, what I'd like to do today is to focus on here and now. Okay, you keep interrupting and painting these false impressions of what you think of me, your doubts and your disbelief. Think of the logic behind this. If I'm right, if there is in fact some way by God's grace that we can create a world where secrets and debts and wars are not legal, which I don't see why God would actually prevent us from choosing that. But should it turn out that I'm right, how is history going to reflect you and your choices?
God sent me to tell you what I find to be true, and vice versa.
Yeah, I encourage you. Let's spend more time with you trying to understand instead of teach.
Hey
Jack,
Jack.
if I may on this, Nemesis, you're in your emotions and you're in your disagreements.
Jack, I have to tell you, I you know, if you were to ask me that question about teaching, I couldn't say with a pure heart that I'm not here, but my intention is only to get you to Jesus Christ, and that's it. Just so you know.
Well, once again, DeFreak, I suggest that the Father may have greater value available rather than you just spending your time going around and teaching people like me to turn to Jesus. When if you actually listen to my words, you keep trying to turn, as I see it, you keep trying to turn us to the Bible, not to Jesus, not to God, not to the Father, not to love, but to the Bible. Am I wrong?
Yes.
How so?
Well, the Bible is just another avenue to find Him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a connection to the Spirit that is the most important thing. These are just tools and ways that we can know Him and know about Him and direct people towards Him. But ultimately, it's that connection to the love Spirit of God that we want.
Thank you. And well, please, then I'm really, really perplexed by some of your choices then, because you get it. You're right. The Spirit of Christ. But so then if you believe in Jesus, then do you believe in his return, that there will be a period of time in this realm where peace where truth, where Jesus would reign supreme, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's,
so you think he's going to still have warring nations?
Well, he's going to be coming down and in the midst of a war and ending the war by destroying all the enemies of Israel in
Okay,
Ezekiel
well,
38 and 39.
let's take
Revelation.
this, please. Let's take these ideas loosely, if we can, please. Okay, because as I understand the nation of Israel, it's those who follow the Christ. They can be grafted into the teachings and the savings of the Messiah. So Israel can include all of us. Now,
It can, yeah, if you believe in Jesus Christ, yes.
yes. And so the war is happening. There's been a war against the truth since before we were born. And Jesus, by his teachings, by God's grace, by God's will, grace, and perfection, God allowed us to experience the teachings of Jesus. It was passed down and interpreted. And according to history, a lot of men and women died for this book to still be around, right? So I don't dismiss it, but the return of Jesus, it talks about his return in the clouds and bringing forth the army in the clouds. Well, admittedly, a long time ago, before my education was fully developed, there is the truth of that Dunning-Kruger effect. Once we learn a little bit, we get an idea, we get real excited, and we think we know everything. It's only after we keep learning more that we start to gain some humility and then gain real strength in the wisdom. Well, when I first started thinking these ideas about becoming more Christ-like, well, I thought, well, why not? I already wanted to follow the way of Dr. Martin Luther King. I wanted to become greater and standing up for equality between race, standing up more for workers' rights. I mean, that's really what Dr. King was murdered for, was standing up for the rights of workers here in America. And yet today we're still voting in politicians who put in judges and stack the labor relations board against the workers. I'm getting way off track here, aren't I?
Yeah, it's all right. It's complicated.
No, you're good.
I'm
You're
just
good,
wondering
Jack.
why
I
we're talking
appreciate you
about the
explaining
Bible.
this.
Thank you.
You're not going to
The
find.
thing is, if I could, real
You're
quick, I'll
not
try
going
and
to
wrap
find
up what I
what you
was
need in
saying.
the Bible, and you're not going to find what you need in government. You're
Well,
going to
the
find
thing is,
what you need
the
in
thing
Christ.
that you said, Nemesis, was that you want him to see things your
Your
way, basically.
disagreement, sir.
And I'm just saying that he should see things the God's way. That's all. But
Do you
yeah,
even know what Jesus meant? Have you interpreted it correctly?
It
So
means
whenever
love.
he told the disciples to go buy a sword, it means that you have to fight these cops, this government.
Nemesis,
If it comes to it, like the American Revolutionaries.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Nubs and Nemesis must be great
You're wrong,
friends.
Nemesis.
Please, if
Jack,
I'm wrong,
just let
okay,
him
how
test
am I
his
wrong?
theory. Let him test his theory. Let him go for it. Go for it, man. Go grab a sword and do what you got to do. Don't bring us into this.
Keep believing in your government.
Well, okay. Well, no. See, there you go, Nemesis. Thank you, Nubs. I mean, if you carry through your thoughts, Nemesis, then why aren't you following the way? I mean, you just seem to be a lot of talk, not really doing much, are you?
Well, the American Revolution was a macrocosm event.
Okay, so back to history.
Mr.
and what
Nemesis,
others
were
have
you
done.
at the American Revolution that you can speak firmly on this subject as a first-hand account witness?
You sound retarded when you ask that question. Are you a fucking retarded
Will you
bitch?
answer the question whether it's retarded or not?
No.
No,
Obviously,
because
we
it's
all
in
know
bad
the
faith.
answer, so we know
You're a
you're
fuck boy.
incompetent to give
You are a
first-hand account
fuck boy.
testimony.
Ad hominem. Ad hominem fallacy.
No,
Please,
incompetent means
yield,
not able to carry through with the task.
Hey, Jack, what about
Disagreeable
the DOJ?
Nancy.
Please. What was that?
Hey, Mr. Nemesis, what about the Department of Justice? Oh, is he gone?
I put him to the back because, frankly, why? Why should we continue entertaining his thoughts? Seriously, he's closed-minded. He's convinced. He's convicted that I need to learn from him. And we've got better options, to be honest. Nemesis, tell you what, my friend, you know how to reach me beyond just this. You've done it before. Not once. I tell you what, Nemesis, this is an opportunity for you to go reevaluate your behavior, your choices in your memory of me, and evaluate what your next best steps would be. Have a good day, my friend.
And get out of your feelers and your emotions. Be in the now, sir. Gosh, guy's talking as if he was there at the war.
It's the way this world is. People have been taught to be in their memories and imagination, and then everyone's fighting and arguing over opinions. But this is the key, sincerely. Think about this concept, acceptance. Acceptance without the approval or disapproval, because the approval or disapproval may create a separation between us. But if we can accept the moment right now for everything, all of the past, and accept all of the past too. All of the past brought us to here. So accept all of the past for what it was, and accept all of the present for what it is. And right now, if we can accept something, the next step, can't we appreciate it? Can we appreciate right now and everything that was, everything that might be in the future? Can we appreciate all of it? I think we can. And then if you just appreciate something, you build on that, you focus on that, it grows into love. And I honestly believe, guys, love is the reason we are here. And part of love, I think God created this corruption, right? Allowed all the past, the evolution of technology. God allowed the corruption, the secret societies, the mafia to get inside the U.S. government, and the U.S. government to hold up this international banking service as though it's the way of the world. America is so delusional and so confused. But what if this is a big game created for spirit beings to play around in? And what if that is what the dark people have been knowing, is that they can do whatever they want, because eventually the people will cry out, and that's when God will answer. So there's those people that are called, what are they called? The accelerationists, trying to bring forth through pain and suffering, trying to bring forth the return of the Christ. Right? Some people, but guys, what if God created this whole world and all the craziness for us to discover, hey, we can change the world. What an experience that could be. I want to experience being a part of peace, ceasefires, reforms, no more corruption, no more secrets, no more blind obedience.
Hey, Jack, have you ever thought about taking this opportunity that you're going to be having here shortly and going over and doing some, boots on the ground, stopping wars type thing?
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
I mean, that would be way better use of your time than Tommy Boat riverboats. Yeah, I mean, take it for what it is. I know apparently I'm a self-proclaimed nemesis of yours, but take it for what it is.
Hey, it sounds like a fun time, the riverboat idea, but certainly my focus is elsewhere. And hopefully, I mean, everything could change in a day, in a moment. So I'm not going to exclude possibilities and ideas that sound fun or exciting, but
would you end up going to the Ukraine or Israel? I'm just curious.
To negotiate peace?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with Washington, D.C. and encourage those people to do their jobs properly, or help guide me to where they're failing. Because obviously the American government, the diplomats of the United States government. Obviously, they're failing to accomplish what seems to be pretty logical. It's logical to insist that wars end. But here, Nubs, what you're saying, boots on the ground, go end wars. One man, I'm just singing in the wind, just screaming in the wind.
See, I
like
don't,
those street preachers being ignored.
I don't think that would be the case, Jack. I mean, you think about how many one man started great movements.
Right.
I mean,
it starts with one to join that one.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Pol Pot, Hitler, they were all one man. They started a movement and the entire nations followed them.
Besides them, many others too.
What's right. That? Right. We got Mao. We got, I mean, there's been lots of great single one man leaders out there.
You know, that idea that you had, Jack, about making secrets illegal, war illegal, those legal things that you're talking about, that is something that is achievable, like doable, and makes sense. Like, I could definitely get behind something like that.
Thank you.
Hey, Nubs, I'm confused. Are you some kind of communist or fascist? Is that why comparing
why would you say that? That is not even, no. Are you serious, sir?
Yeah,
you are part of the movement of light to bring forth the new creation of God to this place. You are a melanated brother. How dare you?
Well, you reference Pol Pot, Mao, Hitler in reference to one man influencing change. So
when I say Mao, you think of one man. You don't think of the army behind him. When I say Hitler, you think of one man, not the army behind him. I'm talking about one message. You're in your emotions, sir.
You guys said someone that's not like Beethoven.
Here, this is actually what I mean. There was a lot of understanding. There was a lot of study, analysis, and understanding gained from psychology and sociology regarding World War II, the obedience mind game. Well, the obedience mind game is exactly what I hope to help change. My hope is on this route, hoping to help the obedient. And I think this crowd, many of the people who found me, they've already woken up to the idea of blind obedience. But I really want to get to the people who think they can tell people to obey. Right? Because
it's backwards. Sorry.
No, Paul is confused on there.
Yeah, but it's backwards. He's got it turned around. So it's him that's confused, actually.
No, it's forward. You don't know how to read. It's backwards for me, but for you, it's forward. It's rendering right because I have it on my screen.
Yeah, Paul is confused.
That's fine, Nubs.
We're seeing bleed through for the other message.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yep, it's bleed through on the other message.
That damn bleed through. It gets me every time, Jack. It gets me every time.
A whole lot of things get you, Nubs. A whole lot of things.
Well, life.
I don't want to explain all the things that have got you so far.
Why, Hank? Why are you in your disagreement? I'm here. I'm being peaceful. I'm not doing anything wrong, and you're in your disagreement, trying to cause chaos and war. You, sir, are actually being an active agent of chaos.
I'm the greater agent of chaos, but I still think it's worth it to help Jack in war. So.
There again, you keep on thinking, and you're thinking in your chaos.
I know.
Hold on.
That, but I still support Jack.
Hank, I do appreciate this, but Nubs is actually right.
Yeah,
Nubs, his behavior, and thank you for what is being shared and offered here. Thank you.
Yeah,
and so let's not antagonize him too much.
But I still support Jack's motive.
I know. Thank you.
How is it that you are supporting when you are being a direct agent of chaos? That is destruction, sir. That is your emotions, sir.
Let me explain how this works, Nubs. Since I'm the greater agent of chaos, all the lesser chaos agents will have to be lawful relative to me. So if I get them so that
It's not the Hank show. Last I checked, this is Live Without Fear, not Hank Without Fear. Not Hank's Hat Show. It is Live Without Fear. I would appreciate if we can get back to Jack here, sir. Right up to Jack.
Yeah, we are.
We're taking away from the show. I'm done. I'm done with this argument. Jack, if you can handle that.
I thought Jack could get his message across. I don't know what's so hard about that.
This is some great content.
Great stuff.
What's up, Dennison? It's been a while, man.
See, and there we go. Antagonization. Jack, I come over here with peace on my heart and peace on my mind, and all I get is antagonization. I understand how you feel, sir.
I was talking to the Dennison there.
Yeah, I didn't think that was at you.
Oh, I didn't see there was another person. I thought you were being aggressive towards me. My apologies. It's been so frequent.
It's okay. My apologies too. You know, it's all right.
We can establish peace here, Jack. We can do this.
Believe it. I do believe
One
it.
step at a time, brother.
You know, the CIA is completely rogue, and the leadership and the betrayal of our leadership the last 80 years is what screwed us over to this point. Like, it's on layers. So to me, the whole thing starts at the Department of Justice. Anyone have anything? You know, that's where we got to jam out, because they're the ones. With
See,
the
I
authority
think it starts much more local, sir. I think it starts in each and every one's heart, where you can find the love. That's where it really starts, is it not, Jack?
To go kick some ass at the DOJ. That's where you're going to take some heart to go kick ass at the DOJ.
So go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Right down to that DOJ and preach them the way that you need to preach them. They will listen, right?
How about
it's either wait until you're starved out or bum rush the DOJ. What else you got?
Okay, or we meet with people who are in positions of employment, right? These positions of employment that have been delegated the authority to write so-called laws, the laws that all of us are trying to survive with. Let's have conversations with those people and point out some changes that are immediately available that could.
Who enforces those laws, Jack?
What's that?
Who enforces those laws?
Which laws are you imagining?
Well, the Department of Justice administers them and enforces them. They assign district attorneys. Those are the prosecutors. Those are the ones that screw up your life.
Under the old ways. But again, I'm talking about, let's discuss with the people who write the laws, the legislators, the employees of Congress, the public servants who are there to actually serve the nation, not govern the nation, right? We keep talking about these words and these problems. Well, let's confront it.
What about the UPU?
The UBU.
Do you think that would be a good place to start?
I don't remember what that is.
The United Postal Union?
Oh, the UPU. I know that's
UPU. Isn't that what I said?
I didn't hear it clearly. I know that's got an involvement in the worldwide commerce and structures. I know it's got a place, but I honestly believe that the puppeteers in Congress in the United States of America, that's the best place to start. Actually cleaning house from the corruption. Just simply, we can have an adult conversation, right? Citizens of this land. I raised my hand. I was a citizen for over 22 years, public servant. 28 and a half years of my life, I was a public servant and a slave. So,
Jack, how long were you a supervisor?
Never.
You weren't ever. What was your? I used to work at the post office. I don't know if in all of our argument, I have worked at that same facility under those same regulations and, you know, all of the man, if we could just start getting the corruption out of the post office, let's be real honest with you. I mean, really, honestly, folks, you have 2 postal employees here. That place is insane.
It's almost like war is happening there while the mail is being sorted.
It's honestly, that is part of my goal. I got terminated from the Postal Service because I tried to make it a better place to work because I believed I
Same
could.
here, only I quit. I didn't get terminated, but I quit. They escorted me out of that building because, man, I'll tell you, I was a sorter, and you know those big sorting machines, how they fly and they just, and we're supposed to check them, right? That's the training. You always check your machine for bad bands. It'll take your fucking fingers. And every day I would find 10, 12 bands, and my supervisor did not like it because it slowed the machine down. I said, maintain your machines properly. But no, he wanted to be in his disagreement, Jack.
You're talking the letter machines?
Mm-hmm.
I
With the little spinning things that you fix the band. And it's an easy fix.
Good for you. I mean, my job at the post office, I found my way into the union, and I didn't like the way they were doing things. So I got involved, and I thought I could do better. And so I got very involved in all of the safety programs, all of it. I dove into it. And I used to explain to the fellow workers, safety, number one, the bosses don't care. You're just a number. It's up to you. Work safe. So you make it home safe to your family. And that's what I wanted to change. The Postal Service is an example of America. It's a top-down structure of management. It's fear-based, it's punishment-driven, and it's all obedience-driven. Well, obedience.
And let's be honest, those managers in the post office, they're absolute disgusting tyrants. They've been there for so long. They've got bid after bid and have the cat's meow position. They put all the slaves in order. I get it, Jack, man. I get it. I get why you're so angry.
I'm not angry anymore. I am sad
about that.
Yes. But
frustrated.
I was, and thank you. I was, but now I am. I'm still filled with hope. I have a sadness for all the postal workers that are still there dealing with the craziness. I know many of them are doing their good fight. As a matter of fact, I'll give a shout out just by some slim chance. Just a moment. I'll give a shout out by some slim chance if the attendees of the Washington State American Postal Workers Union happen to tune in. The WAPU convention going on right now. I understand it may be in Olympia. So blessings to those brothers and sisters, the hardworking postal clerks, but they don't know what I know yet. And we're here to change this world, guys. We really are. The Postal Service, it's a small piece, but it's a piece of the puzzle, and it's a big part of the piece of American history. So,
Jack, what they know is they know what's in that packet that they were given the first bid they got. That's what they know. And they know that they're going to hang on until they get that fat check at the end because they can retire as a letter carrier on a great pension and get every benefit and privilege. You know, it's those people that are willing to stick it out so they can get to the age of retirement. I get it. I'm getting there, man. I'm not a spring chicken, but I'll tell you, if you're willing to sacrifice your soul for something like that, money, the love of money is the root of all evil, which is the root of all war.
Hey, Nubs, actually, that's what's kind of funny about you asking if I was a supervisor. They tried recruiting me for a while, and I said,
I could see that.
I like fighting on the union side. No way I'm going to go sit at a desk here. So, hey.
Yeah, when they escorted me out that day, it was hilarious. It was two supervisors, and they tried to make it look like I was the one. But I saw their gaslighting. I saw their tactics, and I walked right in there, and I walked right into my union. They looked at me like I was the devil himself. walked right into that union office, and there wasn't a damn thing they did. I said, I explained my situation. He said, go enjoy your day off. I said, I will, and I'll protect my fingers. And look at there, still got a fucking nub. You think about how much money I would have gotten on that machine if I would have gotten my fucking nub on there.
Hey, all right, I'm ready to wrap it up. Please and thank you to all of you for joining. Thoughts on the way out?
Yes. So sometimes when management just doesn't do the job, pretty much if you can't, I just do it myself. I'll do it myself. Maybe I'll ask for forgiveness later. Sometimes I don't care, but first of all, I just go ahead and use the system in place, and when that fails, I'll figure something else out. And if I can't do that, I'll just leave it and table it till I can come back and fix it later. That's just my strategy.
You work for UPS, don't you? They're a little bit crazy over there at UPS and USPS, or not USPS. They're the normal ones. These guys over here, you guys are an interesting bunch. FedEx, UPS, yes. One of those two. The fake mail system. I'm just messing with you, buddy.
The purple one.
The purple one.
Yes.
Amazon.
No.
That's Plum.
Roll with 1 and 3. Just flip a couple points.
So that's where all the different color matching, coordinating. Sometimes you're going to the blue, sometimes yellow, sometimes orange.
Sure, that works.
Okay. It's a little joke. I haven't made any jokes. I haven't been so funny. I've been very serious and very somber.
Actually, I've appreciated you've been gentle. You've been gentle, Nubs, and I do appreciate it. Thank you. Sincerely.
And I've even had inflection in my voice. I've given you everything, Jack. I've given you everything.
Today you have. All right, I'm gonna start weeding out. Anything else?
All right, I got one last word.
Okay.
When we wrap it up, we should always consider it should have been wrapped up 40, 50 years ago. Just saying, wrap it up. Have a great one.
All right. Thank you, Nubs. Appreciate you. Hank. All right. Sean. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess what I would just say, I saw Jeep Girl left a comment the other day in regards to you and what she thought would be good for you. And I agreed because I had a similar thought in the past too. But it somewhat was reminded from the Wild Heart encounter where R.I.P. Wild Heart, by the way. R.I.P. Wild Heart. But maybe he'll resurrect, right? No pun intended. Pun intended. All right, pun intended. Bad joke. I'm not funny, Jack. So I try though, that's something. Anyway, drug rehabilitation, type of basically facilitating something that you've gained wisdom from based on your own experiences dealing with the same demons and what have you, problems, let's say. So as opposed to say ending wars and legal secrets, which not only you haven't done, but is an incredibly momentous and in many ways unrealistically, you know what I mean? It would take like you do say it would take, it would take a lot. I can't do it on my own, which is true. It's very much true. I think fair to say. Anyway, I'm not going to start rambling, but I just thought that I've seen you facilitate on many occasions, positive. What would be the word? Some food for thought for people to. I'm coming for people to sit on, and I think you've benefited. People have benefited from that. So I would just say, whatever that means to you, take it for what it's worth. Take the best, leave the rest. Eat the fruit, spit out the pit. With that being said, sir, have a good weekend. See you soon.
Thank you, Sean.
Yes, sir.
He said something, and I was trying to reflect. That's all right. DeFreak, anything else?
Yeah. start doing push-ups, maybe walk around the block, maybe jog a little bit, get that stamina built up. It's going to be a long, successful summer for you, Jack, and I don't want you to blow it, all right? I'm counting on you. I got $40 riding on you, and si se puede, bro. Take care.
Thank you, my friend. Blessings to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who joined today. The idea of Sean, what he's offering, feedback, constructive feedback on doing what I do good and what I've got experience with. Well, maybe I haven't explained myself well enough yet, shown myself well enough yet, whatever. I haven't grown into the approval of many. But everything I'm offering, these ideas of love and practice habits of gratitude, seeking appreciation, developing practice, conscious, intentional practices of meditation and prayer for the purposes of growing the relationship you have with love. Because regardless of what the books forecast, what the news forecasts, what the experts forecast, we live right now. And if you want to live right now in the way of God, in the way of love with the Spirit of Christ, choose it. Choose to live now. Choose to live with God. Choose to live with love. I know God through the truth. I've explained this many times. I thank God daily. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God, for the truth you've allowed me to know. See, the truth God allowed me to learn of includes the story and teachings of Jesus, not to mention all of the incredible explanations and observations, all the hidden gems in the Bible I've been allowed to discover, to learn of, to really just blow my mind at the perfection of our Father. The Father divine that creates the intelligence, the energies for nature and the sun and moon and stars, the heavens and the earth, for it to all produce our day perfectly today. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, thank you for joining me today. I hope we realize, the focus on the past, it prevents us from really connecting to today. The focus on the past prevents us from really living and discovering the joy, the excitement, the possibilities of today create the possibilities and potentialities of the future. So, brothers and sisters, I think I've gone on long enough. Let's wrap this up. Sincerely, all of you, whoever joins with me on Facebook, on Rumble, on YouTube, please subscribe, follow, share, like, do the algorithm thing. But sincerely, if you want to be a part of changing this world and you want to work with me in any fashion, you want to work with me instead of just talk at me, reach out. I'm easily reached. Okay. And I do love us all. Till next time, brothers and sisters, choose love, peace for us all, and live without fear. God bless and thank you again.